Hello everyone, welcome to Red Online School Education. Today we are going to study subject Geography Standard 9th lesson number 6, the properties of seawater. See first, general characteristic of seawater. Pacific Ocean is the largest water body on the earth. Minerals from rocks and soil dissolve in water and get deposited in sea through rivers. This process is on for millions of years. Evaporation took away only water, but salt content remained in ocean. This made seas and oceans salty. See first temperature. Temperature of seawater. Temperature is a major property of seawater. The surface temperature of seawater is not uniform everywhere. This is depend on different factors. See which are the factors are there. Means first point is temperature is the major property of seawater. The surface temperature of the seawater is not uniform everywhere. It is different. So what are the points? Yeah, what are the factors are different factors are depend on the latitudinally speaking, the surface temperature of the seawater decreases from the equatorial areas towards the pole. See, latitudinally speaking, about the surface temperature of seawater decreases from where equator to polar region, because on the equator sun rays for perpendicular, that's why there is the lot of heat is there, and that's why surface temperature decreases from equator to polar region, and the average temperature in equatorial areas is around 25 degree Celsius. Means near the equator the seawater temperature is around 25 degree Celsius, and it is 16 degrees Celsius in mid latitude. Mean latitude Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer. Near this Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer, the seawater temperature is near about 16 degree Celsius, and while it is about 2 degree Celsius near the poles, near the polar region, North Pole and the South Pole. Yeah, polar zone is there. Near the polar region, the surface water temperature remains 2 degree Celsius near the poles. And besides these, other factors are also responsible for the temperature of seawater. See beside which are the factors are there. Beside these, cyclones, rainfall, sea waves, ocean current, salinity, pollution, convectional currents, seasons, etc. also affect the surface temperature. Ocean currents also have similar effect on temperature of the seawater. See, in regions where cold ocean currents flow, the surface temperature of ocean water is less. You can see in the diagram it has shown, that is the ocean currents are there. There are the two types of ocean currents are there, cold ocean currents and warm ocean currents. Means in region where cold ocean currents flow, the surface temperature of ocean water is less. Means cold currents are there, surface temperature is less, and while the regions where the warm currents move, the temperature increases. In the region warm currents flow, the temperature of the sea water is increases. See, the figure number 6.1 is given depth and the temperature of seawater. Observe the graph and answer the following questions. First question is given, what is the maximum temperature of seawater in equatorial areas? How much is the temperature at a depth of 500 meter? Say the maximum temperature of seawater in equatorial areas is 18 degree Celsius. At the depth of 500 meter, the temperature of seawater is 11 degree Celsius. You can observe the picture. Second question is given, what is the temperature of seawater at the sea level in the mid latitudes? See, the temperature of the seawater at the sea level in the mid latitude is 14 degree Celsius. Third question is given, How much has this temperature changed at 1500 meter depth? The temperature of seawater at the sea level at 1500 meter depth is 5 degree centigrade. Yeah, 5 degree Celsius is there. See, what does the thermal graph for high latitude say? What is the temperature at 500, 1000 meter and 1500 meter depth? Means from the graph of temperature of seawater, it is seen that the impact of depth on the temperature of seawater in the high latitude is nil. It is 4 degrees Celsius everywhere. The temperature of seawater even at 500 meter, 1000 meter or 1500 meter depth is high latitude is uniformly 4 degree Celsius. See the last question. After what depth does the seawater temperature remain stable everywhere? Means temperature of the seawater remains stable at 4 degrees Celsius after 2000 meter depth across the earth from the equatorial region to polar areas. See next point. While most of the sun rays radiate back from the surface of the sea, some of them penetrate to certain depth in the water, and as a result the intensity of sun rays decreases with increasing depth. Means see how the sun rays are fall on the ocean water, yeah, sea water, and some sun rays are radiate back from the surface of the sea, and as a result the intensity of the sun rays decreases with increasing depth. Sun rays intensity is decreases with increasing depth. Temperature decreases up to 2000 meter depth, and after 2000 meter the temperature of the seawater is uniform everywhere, and it is around 4 degree Celsius everywhere from the equatorial region to the polar areas. So, temperature reduces only up to 4 degrees Celsius according to depth, and therefore the water at greater depth does not freeze. Means water in the polar region also, at the depth of the sea the water does not freeze because temperature remains 4 degrees Celsius according to the depth, and the temperature of the sea water changes rapidly with the depth at the equatorial areas. Means temperature of sea water change rapidly in which areas? Equatorial areas, and the difference in temperature is lesser in polar areas. Means temperature is less in the polar areas because sun rays are fall slanting here, and there is also a difference in open seas and landlocked sea. Open seas are different and the landlocked seas are different. Means landlocked sea means what? Seas that are totally surrounded by land are called landlocked sea, and landlocked seas are not connected any ocean. You can see in the picture is given, this is the landlocked sea is there. Means these seas are totally surrounded by land, and see there is also difference in open seas and the landlocked sea. As the salinity of the landlocked sea is more, the temperature of these landlocked seas is higher than the open seas. Means the landlocked seas temperature is the higher than the open seas because it is surrounded by land. So this is the first property of the sea water. This is the temperature of sea water, and temperature is the major property of sea water. In next video we will see the next point, salinity. Thank you.